What is up? What is up? No Ugly Chicks is back again.
We're so back.
Episode 6, I feel. Yes, episode 6. Living life to the fullest, you know. New York is still hot as hell. It's hot as fuck outside right now. And yeah, like it's August. So the summer is like going by so fast. Like I said in the last episode, I definitely want to bring in people that I respect, people who inspire me as well. So that correlates to this episode. So my next guest, I have an honor to sit down with someone who wears many hats. Most will call him a craftsman, visionary, but what stands out to me the most is he is a survivor. My next guest is a sneaker designer, creative director, cultural storyteller, and has been a pivotal figure in sneaker culture for over 2 decades. Collaborating with Travis Scott, Virgil Abloh, and Nigel Sylvester, bring attention to my guy, Frank Cooke.
How are you, man?
Good, man. How are you?
You know I can't complain, man. Everything is good.
How's New York been treating you?
Oh, New York is wonderful. I just love, just the culture. I love the energy, I always get very inspired by New York. It's amazing. It's the mecca of, fashion. It's the mecca of, just this life in general, man. It's good.
I was at dinner last night, and there was these two guys just talking. It was like, New York it'll burn you out, but it's just like, where else I'm gonna go? Like,
right.
It's New York. So I agree. I totally agree with that because it's like the magic in the city, fashion, sports, culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where else will you go besides New York?
No, I'm always envious of that. I'm like, I should have taken the time to actually live here and experience it for myself and actually establish some vibes here. But yeah, I always love visiting. It's always love, and it's a place that I'll come back to hopefully when I retire.
Yes, hopefully no time soon because you need it. But
absolutely.
Have you been like in and out during your career of New York? Like you never really lived here. You just like come here for work.
Always visit, work. Did a couple pop-ups here, but with Jordan Brand. But yeah, it's always a good time, always good food, always good music, especially, R.I.P. Clark Kent. But we used to always go through music and talk about music, so it's like all that is always encompassed in New York, and I love it.
Yes. Yeah. And you're currently based in Portland,
Oregon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very different than New York, huh?
Very different.
Yeah.
But it's a chill pace, which I love, and I mean, it's a great, again, food scene. I never really got into nature, but seeing mountains and volcanoes and hot springs, things like that. It's like, wow, different,
Yeah, I went there for my 24th birthday. It's not a place where you can go club and go party.
Not at all. No nightlife.
No nightlife, but it's great nature. It's great seafood. A lot of great oysters in Portland. Yeah. Great. It's clean. Portland is so clean.
Yes.
But you're in a hub for what you do. It's the Nike boys, the Adidas boys.
Yes.
Jordan, of course, and I think it's one other brand. I think Timberland.
No. So Under Armour's there.
Under Armour's there. Yeah. So y'all all in the.
Yeah.
It's
all respect. It's, proud of people if you work at the brand or not. It's like I'm at Nike, but I definitely respect what everybody's doing. So. Yeah,
because it's like a sorority. Because it's like y'all get it. Most people can't understand y'all world and what y'all go through. The verbiage is very much one coded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but that comes along with footwear, and it's good to be able to be that close, right? And then to be able to educate other people on that and get them out there. I always tell all my friends, just come out. I heard a lot about Portland and it's cool, and I want to visit campus, and I'm like, yeah, come out and experience what I experience on the daily. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes. You have such a rapper's energy.
Really?
Yeah, very.
I would love to be in the music industry. It's my other passion, I would say. Definitely did a little bit with Wale and worked on his Ambition album with him. Yes, it was pretty cool.
Classic. To me, his best album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. That was just a fun time. I learned a lot, about branding and just how the music industry flows. And
Yeah.
it was a great time, man. Shout out to my boy Wale.
Yes, I used to look at his interviews and just like, wow, he been through so much when it comes to just like label problems and just like people he not feeling appreciated from the masses. But we
His
love
kick
Wale.
game is crazy.
His kick
so,
always been that since like 2008,
yeah,
2009.
no, absolutely.
The craziest, like the craziest shoes. Like he had like the Sprite LeBron 8s.
Oh,
when I was early.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, this dude he's something. And this one, he was with Dream Chasers with Rick Ross.
Yep, he just signed then. Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Wale. But you know, it's so much to talk about, so much to touch on. Because I was, doing my research and I was like, you just have a vast history of things that you've done.
Yeah.
But I just want to touch on your earlier years, growing up in Philly, what drove your creative juices? Because Philly is not like LA.
Yeah.
It's not like, New York.
Yeah.
Philly is very hard. It's very sports driven when it comes like boxing, basketball, dudes in the streets. You know what I mean? It's not really a place where you can see past what you're around, your environment.
Yes.
So what drove your creative juices?
Just growing up there, like, my mom was from Philly, my pops is from Delaware, so it's like a short, drive. And, growing up in both places, man, and taking trips to like South Street, Dr. Denham, Total Sports, these different places, Samsung, City Blue, like these different stores where like sneakers were just like wrapped on the wall, slat wall, and you're like, yo, you're trying to get them early. 2-3 weeks back then was the thing, know? So, and for me, the style in Philly has always been really, really clean.
Yeah.
The Adoras were pretty popular when I was younger, know, and like all these different sneaker brands. And I think, Philly style's a little different, but we're willing to try things. We'll give you a chance. So
yeah.
Whether it was a leather jacket or jerseys or hats then, I was into a lot of those different things. So, I mean, I was always inspired by that, always inspired by the music. The music scene is really big there. Philadelphia has a sound, Philadelphia sound, So my mom and my pops would always play like WDAS, like these, 105.3, shots out. But like, I was growing up around music and this whole, my family and just growing up in an environment where I felt like everybody has style, and I always look up to people like around my way and just be like, damn, like I could do this, So I've always been interested in fashion.
Yeah. Philly is interesting because it's so close to New York that it kind of gets overshadowed by like
absolutely
how cool New York is.
And Jersey too.
And Jersey too.
Yeah, you gotta get Jersey. They got a certain style. Shout out to Kai. Like he does his thing out there,
Yeah.
So I got big respect for Jersey too. So I love and Baltimore, right?
Baltimore,
so, and DC. So like that whole I-95 corridor has been an inspiration to me because, it was so central. Delaware is central, right? Philly's central. So you can just hop on the train, go down, go up, So it's like, it was cool because you can get those influences straight. Like it's very central.
Yeah, like being from Miami, we always kind of got overshadowed by Atlanta because Atlanta's so pivotal in culture. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When it comes to just like artists, you know what I mean? You had Gucci when I was growing, Gucci, Future, OJ the Juice Man, even Nicki Minaj really launched her career in Atlanta.
And those are some of the bigger names, like the OG Michaels,
OG Michael,
2-9, all those dudes, like shots out. But it's like all that was a whole movement, Trinidad James.
Trinidad James, Trinidad James is from Atlanta. That when he came out with All Gold, everything, and I still listen to his first album. One of my favorite songs is Gold on My MacBook. Yeah, that beat is so tough, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a hard beat.
Yeah, no, he's always had style too. He's always been in the sneakers. It's very organic with him, and so shouts out to Nick, man.
They need to bring that show back on Complex. That
absolutely,
that was a good show, right?
Yeah.
That was tough. Shout out to Trinidad James.
Yes.
But your early interests or hobbies, like, like most people what you do now is probably not rare that you thought you was going to do that now. You know what I mean? As a kid, you probably was like, oh, I want to be an NBA player, or you know what I mean, a boxer. What was your hobbies and interests early on?
My interests, I can't even lie, I was always sneaker collecting.
Oh, so it was destined, right?
At an early age of like 14, I was working at Foot Action at my local mall. So it was like, I've always really been into it because I always felt like, I could express myself in a different way. Like I could be like, hey, these sneaks never came out, or I would do a brand that people weren't really messing with at the time, so it's like, dang, I could really do this. And so that between that and like collecting a lot of music, I know I'm saying that a lot, but between music and sport, that has always been kind of and like street culture has always been my inspiration. It's always been like something I've been interested in. So
yeah, because like me, this is the next question that goes hand in hand. Like, would you consider like music and sports and fashion under the umbrella of culture? Because
absolutely.
Rappers want to be athletes, and athletes want to be rappers.
Right.
So it falls under the same thing as like culture. Like the dudes in Philly that was doing what they was doing, serving. They always had the freshest kicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
NBA players, you look at them now. The tunnels, the people who don't even get no playing time, they still go crazy on social media because they got the flyest fits. You know what I mean? So it all ties in to one. Do you agree with that?
I agree. And then you got to think, man, some of the greatest moments need a score.
Yeah.
Right? You need the music tied to moments, or you need fashion tied to moments. MJ, people love the retros because they remember what he's done in them, the stories that came out of him playing in the shoes. So they all go hand in hand to me. And so that's how, I focus on storytelling.
Yes.
I always want to go back to where things were, but I also want to create nostalgia, right?
Yes.
You want to create the moment. And when you're living in a moment, you don't feel like you're creating a moment, but you actually are.
Right.
And so I always try to capture that moment, whether it is present or future, So
speaking of Jordan, like what was your favorite retro Jordan? I would say mine was the metallic 5s and the cool gray 9s.
Oh, all right. Well, to me, I don't wear them as much, but like I've always loved the 11s.
Yeah.
Like I think the 11s are just so polarizing.
Yes.
They look clean. With the materials, the patent leather, it's always just like a very clean look. And it's, it was first, it was captivating to me as a kid to be like, damn, he's wearing patent leather on court. Like something that, traditionally you see on dress shoes.
On dress shoes, yeah.
So, that's always been my favorite shoe, though. Like it just, not my style.
Yeah.
It's my favorite shoe.
Yeah. You're more like a SB.
More like just chill.
Yeah.
So that's why the ones are always like a good one to go to.
Yeah.
I know like they're not as popular now, but it's always one of my favorite shoes.
Do you like 2s?
I love 2s.
Yeah,
I think 2s were, the height's a little weird, so I like lows.
Like too low, yeah.
And so, but I've always liked the 2 for sure.
Underrated shoe. In my opinion.
Yes.
But fast forwarding a little bit, going to like 08, working at Wish ATL.
Yes.
What was that like? Because I worked in sneaker stores and they're all one and the same. Like they all smell the same. Like they all smell like fresh kicks all smell the same. Like no matter if you work at Flight Club, Champs, Foot Locker, you know what I mean? You just remember that smell. Like what was your distinct memories of working at, a retail store like that?
The long hours.
Oh, yeah, that's brutal. Oh, my God.
So, this is where, boutiques and kind of streetwear culture was fairly new, and so it was only a handful of us, so, I mean, during that time, it was so new, and so many good people have come out of, working that I've worked with there, and like, again, the music culture was just kind of going forward, right? So like that was a big part of it. And just Atlanta as like a community, a sneaker community, shouts out to everybody who's ever supported. Like it grew to where it is today, and so I've always been super, super, super thankful for that city because like, even though I wasn't born there, I grew up there, I became a man there. Yeah. And so like, I've always appreciated, what Wish has done for me and, vice versa,
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, Atlanta is just, it's timeless. It's a great place to like, like you think you may know a lot about stuff, but Atlanta will be like, nope, it just puts you onto so much knowledge.
Humble you
quick.
Humble you.
Yes. just back then, like you see how, say for instance, for example, like you'll get like I'll do GS
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll do a regular. Like for a GS and like Brad 11s or something. Back then in 2008, 9, 10, 11, maybe like 150.
Yeah.
130.
Yes.
For GS.
Yes.
For male, it would be like 175, 200, crazy.
Right.
Nowadays in like 2025, a GS sneaker for like a metallic 5 or a cement 3 would be like 375. Right. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, how do you feel inflation has affected sneaker culture?
I think inflation, period, has affected a lot of things, sneaker culture and outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I always reminisce on, a lot of these shoes I've seen for the first time, come out. So, I remember when the 11s were like 140 and they came out on a Wednesday.
Yes.
So to see it evolve to where the prices are now, I mean, I have to understand, what manufacturing is now, know, and so what it costs to actually make a shoe.
Yeah.
The materials are different, the process is different.
Mm-hmm.
Labor is different, so I can see where it's going, and like, it is tough to see some of those prices, but I always say, hey man, we can't be barefoot or butt naked. It's illegal. So what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So I always try to combat against those and try to lower it as much as I can, or what I can do to influence that in materials.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of is what it is. But hopefully, everybody will.
It's like a sticky situation because like Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, you remember Shaq?
Yeah, absolutely.
The price point was so low to a point where it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, it's not sexy to buy because it's like, oh, they like $60. Oh, these Payless shoes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird situation because it's like, you want to cater to like the inner city people and want to cater to people who don't really have it like that.
Absolutely.
So they can still feel fly, but it's also like, if you make the price point so low, it doesn't bring the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
and my style's always been kind of different with that. Like you can put me in the middle of Walmart and I'm gonna come out like trying to find something Realtree or like, So I think like the good thing about that is like having things at the lower price point that are digestible, you can make it cool. And like that, it's always been like, you got to work with what you have. And I've experienced that way before I was in this shoe game, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it is a blessing to be able to be on like the hottest shoes, but like, I know what that is. So it's, again, that style, I think, especially in Black culture, we can make a lot of things pop, even if it's, at a lower price point. We make everything look hot.
Money doesn't buy style.
Absolutely.
It's all about vision. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's crazy, but it's like crazy to actually see because I don't go to, like I used to be an addict. I would go on like, Foot Locker, and then when a new drop come at 12 o'clock, you put it in your cart, and then you ship it. It's just crazy to see how it's changed. It's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sneakers apps, like the sneaker app has made it
way more easier.
A little bit easier, right? And then like we're used to this kind of like draw system, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely revolutionized the game, but it's kind of made it a little tougher too.
And there's so many apps now. It's Sneakers, it's Sneaker News, it's Grailed, it's GOAT. And what's another one? I think those are like the top three.
Ones, yeah.
Yeah. But it's really insane. But you mentioned prior that you're a storytelling.
Yes.
And you can see that from your resume. It's definitely, a blind man can see that you're a storyteller because you touch on so many different athletes or just talent. You know what I mean? So it's like you create to fit their niche. Like Nigel, he's a BMX rider. You need shoes like the grip. It's just like the little things that you pay attention to, which is really dope. But how do you compare your storytelling when designing kicks to like your peers, like Sean Witherspoon or like Tinker at Hatfield? Like great. Like how do you compare yourself to those guys?
No, like for me, there's so many different avenues, right? There's design, there's curation, right? And so for me, materials and colorways are kind of my thing, like I love like to see something come to life, and especially if you can get the materials right to match it, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you talk about, you know, a Joe Fresh Goods, a J Tips, you know, a Ronnie Fag, or a James Whitner, you know, like you talk about these top dogs and, you know, the projects that they come out with and the storytelling that they do, I super like huge fan of everybody's work, you know? And so everybody has like their distinct, like, you know, attribute about themselves that like really, really push their projects.
Yes.
You know, and I'm just grateful to just be in that conversation with them, you know? And so there's so many people that do so many great things, like, and I'm just thankful that people kind of recognize it. You know, for me, it's a passion, and I like to play the background. And like even with collaborating with, you know, a Nigel or a Laylee May or you know, any of those people, J Balvin, you know, it's like I want them to see their light, you know, because like even though they're extraordinary in what they do, design or, you know, just curation itself is a talent. And so just to see them shine and do their thing, to me, is like the blessing in it all, you know? And so super proud of everybody I've ever worked with. And I'm inspired by, you know, I'm inspired by a lot of people. Vic Lloyd, you know, leaders, Chicago, and these different cities and people doing their thing and representing their city. I think it's super dope.
And this is crazy, like with Joe Fresh Goods, like seeing him just like
absolutely
be everywhere.
Shout out to Joe, man. Like, you know, the way he's taking New Balance to different heights, you know, before he was there, you know, it wasn't as popular as it is.
Because New Balance was like you wearing Shocks. Even like Shocks now, people with Shocks is actually pretty dope. But it's just like back like 10 years ago, New Balance was not like hot.
Yeah, and he did it in a city that's so Jordan, Nike, you know, heavy. You know, he made them see a different, you know, brand and a new light. And so I'm super proud of Joe. Shouts out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe.
You know, whatever his future endeavors are, you know, but the way that he's taken things to a new height for me is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
But you know, 2014 is where you became, you know, known to the masses, high level projects, you know what I mean? What were the in-betweens before Jordan though? Like what were you doing like 2012?
Yeah, so I was working at Wish, GM, buyer, kind of collaborator, you know, and so that's where
retail buyer.
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
And so that's where I was blessed enough to, you know, gain knowledge on streetwear and make these different relationships where collaborations weren't as prominent as they are now. And so, you know, working with like 10 Deep or working with Reebok or Adidas at the time, like, and even Nike, we've had like different career nights with Nike and Jordan, you know? And so it was like an amazing time because again, everybody, it just seems like it was just so new, so fresh.
Right.
You know, it was on a, you know, come up. And so to be a part of that, you know, at that time, and then, you know, like a story, like a part of my story, you got to talk about the good and bad. Like I was let go from Wish, like out of the blue. And I was like, wow, okay, what am I gonna do now? You know? And so, you know, I got an offer from Jimo Wong to work in starting Energy at Jordan. You know, it just popped up. And I was like, he's like, yo, it's part-time, but you can see if you can secure a full-time job. And I was like, hey, I'll move out to Portland. Let's do it. And so that's kind of how that started.
Yeah, because you always, you know, with the social media era, people broadcast their wins, but it's rare that people broadcast their losses as well.
Absolutely. It's a part of the game, you know? And so like, you know, on the Tyler album, they say, you know, sometimes you got to close the door to open the window, you know? And so yeah, you know, sometimes that happens like that. And sometimes you can't even see your blessings at the moment. It may hurt.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, damn, like what happened? How did this get here? What am I do now? But, you know, it led to that. You know, it led to Jordan Brand. So
what's your sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Yeah. The best people. Y'all cool. Y'all cool. April
22nd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Earth Day.
Yeah. Dope
you
people.
know,
Dope people. So 2014. You know, what happened in 2014? Oh, the Spurs won the NBA Finals. Oh,
it was the tail end. So I was going into 2015, and I started in like February of 2015.
Oh, that's fire.
Yes.
Going into like a brand as Jordan, you know what I mean? Such a creme de la creme of sneaker culture.
Yeah.
You know, and then being a part of the NRG department.
Yes.
How was that? Like, how was year one for you?
It was new, right? So, you know, again, GMO, and we had a small team, you know, my friend Paul, Scotty, like, you know, we were just a very small niche team. And so it was cool to come into the brand where it was so, you know, athlete driven.
Yeah.
You know, so influencers weren't a big thing then, you know, with Jordan Brand and, you know, taking these different avenues outside of the athlete. And so for me, I was just like, it was a lot of pressure, right? Because I'm like, you know, I'm coming into this big brand with people I've always wanted to work with shoes I've always wanted to work with. I hope I don't catch a brick. To be honest with you, like, yo, I hope I don't catch a brick. But I remember Gmo saying, hey, you know, we have this process where, you know, you create a shoe, 6 to 8 weeks, it comes back as a sample, as a look-see. And I'm like, and then I seen the CADs, and I wasn't that good at Illustrator, still really not, but it's cool. I understand like materials and color and like, you know, so, and he was like, yeah, and you can pretty much work through like Jordan 1 through 16. And I was like, as a kid, like thinking about all the colorways I would want to see. Yeah. You kidding me? Like in the materials that I want to see it in. So, yeah, I just started sampling a bunch of things. I was like, look, here's a story tied to this. Yeah. This is a moment. Tie this. And then I was realizing like, hey, retros are cool, but how do we do newer shoes, right? Outside of retro. So, you know, what's the trunner look like? What's these different shoes that people would need to try so that they won't get tired of retros. Right. Yeah. And so, yeah, and I've always had this love for that, for innovation, for something new. So it was cool to me to kind of like get that experience and to be able to work through that whole breadth of the line. Yeah. You know, and have that freedom. And so I was just elated and very thankful to be around, again, the team that I've worked with and learning how to actually build shoes, what a developer was, what an engineer was, you know, marketing, brand, right? Yeah. Like all the people that, you know, I sometimes get the praise for everything, but like to have a team to help you, right? A team to be around and, you know, actually have help you execute a shoe is what I'm thankful for, and learning so much. You know, I went back to being a student then, you know, and so I'm always trying to learn different things. Yeah,
that's actually really fire because that's honestly pretty rare. Whatever, what field you're in, you know, when you're the new guy, it's rare that people welcome you in with open arms and want to see you succeed, especially in a field like that, where it's so like sharks in a fish tank when it comes to.
But Jordan is like a true family, you know. I mean, at least when I was working there, you know. I'm on the Nike side now, but like, during those years, it's like true family, you know. Yeah. You care for other people because, you know, they have kids and, you know, they have their own aspirations, right? Yeah. You know, and so you want to fuel that along with yours. Yeah. And, you know, if everybody wins, we're all good, you know? Good, so that was my mentality and still is like with Nike, yeah.
That's dope. Around that time, it was very athlete driven. Yes. I think Maya Moore was with them. Yes. Carmelo, Chris Paul. I think D Wade left. Yes. Around like 2012 and did Lei Ling. Yep. The Chinese sneaker brand. Was it hard to like, because athletes are just different, you know what I mean? Yes. Like doing their PEs like for the season is very different, especially in the NBA, what I was reading, because it's like most teams now they let you go crazy with like PEs. You can wear like the San Antonio Spurs. You can wear like a pink shoe. Back then, it had to be team colors. It had to be black, white, gold. That's it. And that's kind of like boring. That puts you in a box a little bit.
And I was always trying to disrupt that. Like no matter what. Yeah. Like we were always trying to think, you know, especially when you talk about retros and you talk about Jordan, the biggest thing is like they're good on court, but they're also good off court, you know? And so finding that balance, right? And so working on the Nike side, that's what I'm trying to figure out with Nike basketball now, right? Yeah. It's like, how do you take it the influence on court, but like, hey, you know, not everybody's built like a LeBron or a Kobe, have the, you know, have that kind of drive to be an athlete. So how do you balance it?
Yeah. And like other athletes too, like PJ Tucker.
Yes. Shouts out to PJ.
J.R. Smith, like people who really like Russell Westbrook, people who are like fashion guys, fashion. So you guys like that, it's like, oh yeah.
Yes. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
you know?
It makes it doing a guy like Tim Duncan or like a Manu Ginobili or somebody that's just not like, you know.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you also have to like think about performance, right?
Performance, yeah.
So like these shoes are built to perform. They're built to be on court. They're built to, you know. And so that's my whole thing. It's like, yes, performance and comfort is first.
Yes.
But like you have to throw in that style.
You do, yeah.
That style.
Yeah. No, that's tough. So you mentioned something like you are with Nike now.
Yep.
And with Jordan. I kind of know the difference, but for like the people who are listening, they think Nike and Jordan are two separate entities because it's like you see like it's Team Nike or you Team Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but they're actually one.
Jordan's under the umbrella. Yeah, you know, it's its own brand. It's not a category.
Nike is the okay, and then Jordan. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, it's cool now to be on the Nike side because again, now you're talking about running, you're talking about tennis, you're talking about football, you're talking about basketball. You know, so the whole breadth of the line is way bigger, right? And I feel like some of the silhouettes, past and present, is cool to work on. You know, it's like in Jordan, you're kind of very, you know, you're in a, let's just say 14 to 20 pair kind of, you know, mix where, you know, there's endless silhouettes, you know, from training, like I said, training, basketball, whatever, in Nike.
It's way bigger.
Yes.
In your personal preference, like you worked with Virgil, you worked with Nigel, you worked with J Balvin.
Yep.
The list goes on and on and on and on. But when it comes to, and also Travis Scott, but when it comes to your personal preference, are you more comfortable creating a colorway or creating something for an athlete, a rapper? Like what like when you take a meeting and they bring this and they send you a deck.
Yes.
And they say you're gonna be working with Mike Tyson or something what gets you like, okay, I want to do an athlete. I don't want to do a rapper anymore.
Well, first, I mean, like for me, it's like all those people you named all have great vibes. You know, like that's first. Like you got to see if you vibe, and most of the times you do, right? But you know, also working on collaborations with others, it's their shoe, it's their dream. You know, I just want to say, hey, this is your vision. How do we elevate that? How do we take it to the next level? And it's cool. It's just like producing, right? It's like a producer and a rapper, you know, like magic happens. When two people are like trying to reach a common goal, you know, you both have common interests or not, or like, but getting to a goal of like making some of the best product you possibly can for the people that you target, right?
Yes.
And that consumer. So I just been very blessed to be able to work alongside of some of these great people that you named and be inspired at the same time. Again, like all I want to do is see people win, you know?
Yes.
And it's cool to see, you know, where people start and then like it elevates to somewhere else, you know, but the brand fuels that.
Yes.
You know, MJ or Nike, you know, that history and that lineage there, you know, definitely fuels where things go. Yeah.
And seeing like Nigel, like you, I never really seen a BMX or skateboarder have a shoe that everybody was rocking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regular people, sports, corporate dudes, girls, like his shoe is very universal.
Yes, and you know, his story is so rich, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, when Nigel came over to Jordan and we started working, it's like he was already on SB. But like it wasn't really like I was like, hey, this dude is like really inspiring. He has a story, you know, and so from Grandma's Driveway to Brick by Brick, you know, even the early things where like we took his original Jordan 1 where he would ride every day and we wanted to put that patina on a pair of shoes, you know, to tell his story. And like, you know, when a kid's growing up, you don't have a vehicle, a bike is your vehicle, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you put everything into it, whether it's, you know, little stickers on your
Yeah.
frame, or like, you know, whatever it is, like, and you're going to these different parts of town and you're seeing different things.
Yeah.
And so this is your vehicle, your first vehicle. And so we
Yeah.
wanted to tell that story, and he's done a wonderful job of it. Shouts out to
Amazing
Nigel,
job.
man, and
Amazing job.
all the things that he
Yeah.
does, for sure.
Because you never really seen because it's a popular sport, but it's not popular to the masses.
Correct.
It's popular. The sports that's popular to the masses is basketball, well, football, basketball, baseball, maybe. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So we're used to seeing like LeBrons or KDs or Kobe's or the new Anthony Edwards shoes or John Morant, but we're not used to seeing like a BMX rider have like, to me, one of the hottest shoes on the market at that time.
Yeah, and you look at him, you look at Stevie Williams, you look at, you know, Theodis Beasley, like these people who are like black men and women excelling in a white sport, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you got to celebrate that, you know? And
Yes.
so skateboarding or BMX or snowboarding, you know, Zeb, shout out to Zeb. You know, he signed on with Jordan Brand. But yeah, you see these different athletes in these sports where you don't really see, you know, black athletes. You got to celebrate it.
Yes, and going to 2018, you're 14, 15, 16, 17, doing crazy work, you know, really becoming a staple in sneaker culture. Why would you like leave on the height of being like one of the, you know, best sneaker designers or creative directors or storytellers in sneaker culture? Why would you like leave on the height?
I think, you know, my mom always says, you know, you're always where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time, I feel like, you know, I'm still navigating. I was then, and I'm still navigating through like corporate culture, right?
Yeah.
You know, because I come from,
you
know, I come
so
from a
fake.
place where it's so disruptive, right? Streetwear is disruptive.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be like very anti, or, you know, like just not following the rules, but like staying within them and still having respect. You know, for the brand, respect for corporate culture, right? But also knowing that, like, hey, the streets is where a lot of this organic disruption or being disruptive comes from.
Right.
You know, and so it was that balance, right? Of you know, where I wanted to go. And, you know, I felt like it was a time to kind of like take a break and kind of see what, you know, I could do on my own. And so yeah, it was just timing. And, you know, I was just so thankful to, you know, leave on a very positive note. You know, and so like that's why you see, you know, 6 years later, it comes back around, you know.
Yes. And like I guess it's kind of hard too, because I'm tatted, you tatted. So it's like being in a corporate culture, people look at your exterior and they think because you have tattoos that you're not educated or you can't lead a meeting because of how you look. And it kind of like weighs on you a little bit, because it's like, you know, you know what I mean? And then being in a brand like Jordan, where it's creative and corporate, it's like, you would think it's a happy medium, but it's like, it's really not. Am I correct?
Well, you know, a lot of my friends, you know, like even growing up, I've always been interested in being tattooed. That was like one of my things. I was like, I'm going to be tattooed. I just always had tattoo magazines. My dad was like, what? And he's so conservative and like straight lace, you know? And so, and just learning that culture too, learning from my friend Randy Harris, who's in Atlanta, or, you know, BJ Betts, who is a sneaker collector, you know, like my bro, like, and learning these different way of like a different culture and tattoo culture and like what it is to, you know, how that moves. And so for me, I've never really like looked at it like, you know, tattoos would affect that, because I knew my creativity was there.
Yeah.
And like, look how it's like kind of grown, right?
Right.
And so, you know, again, keeping that respect for others and myself and having a confidence in myself, I've always been like, hey, I'm good at what I do. My exterior has nothing to do with my education or, you know, my confidence or, you know, any of that. So shouts out to all the people who ever want to be in boardrooms with tattoos. Just do your thing, you know, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. But let's jump another 4 years.
Okay.
Another time jump.
Yes.
August 8th, 2022.
Yes.
You know, deciding to become sober, which is a big step, you know, especially being in this life, you know what I mean? Because it's like you go to these pop-ups, it's
Yes.
open bar,
Yeah.
so you go to you have to like network a little bit. It's weed everywhere, you know what I mean? There's other stuff. I don't know, Coke, Molly, you know what I mean? It's everything that you can think of in front of you every time you're even at work, you know what I mean? What made you like want to like go completely sober?
As I sip some sparkling water. For me, like even kind of like having like a little health scare with drinking. But, kind of being dependent, right? Just being open and honest about that, like, and we don't see it as a culture, like, hey, we're getting off, let's go grab a drink.
Yeah.
And like it, and maybe to some people's degree, it wasn't like a lot of drinking, but to me it was.
You drink every night.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and just feeling like that was helping my creativity, right? Being like, yo, I'm on point. Like, hey, I'm just going to do this. And, kind of being numb, and that feeling of being numb was like, it got to be too much for me, and like, I didn't want it to affect my family or my, career or to affect, anyone that was, that I loved, and so for me, I've had enough. Like I've done a lot of that, and again, in the streetwear industry, like there's parties after parties.
This activation.
It's open bar, it's this, that, and the third, like you said. So, I felt like it was just time, besides being like in a health scare and like, hey, I have my son Taco, Gavin means the world to me and my family means the world to me. So, I didn't want to see them hurt. And I wanted to be here, shit, Nobody wants their check engine light to come on and just be like, let me check out real quick, but living life. And, the good thing about it was like getting, once I got to a stage where that numbness went away and then you can actually live and feel, right?
Yeah.
You can feel your emotions. You can, I like dessert now, like things like that. Like, just going back to almost like being a kid, besides the health, and it's better for you. But, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a, anybody, like I'm
I'm
perfect.
sober. You got to get sober.
You got to get sober. Like, it's a fun time. Do not get me wrong. Like it's a fun time. But, just for me personally, it just was, that time for me. And, I still, I have my vices, as everyone does, but, I still enjoy a good cigar, like, whatever it is. But like, having that clear mind, having a, to be able to think through things and like not just take situations and kind of like having to deal with them head on.
Right.
That was the best thing about drinking. You could just be like, I was drunk.
I
mean, what is it? But like having to deal with real things in real time for me is like the best thing right now. And holding yourself accountable, right? Because those are the dark things that people don't want to talk about.
Exactly.
The dependency or, even thinking that you have a problem, right? And then on top of that, being good at what you do and telling people that, hey, I'm still, I fell victim to alcoholism, And so I'm very open and honest about that because there's so many people that struggle with it, and so this is my 3rd year of being sober. And so
congratulations.
I celebrate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing to not have those urges or not want to go back to that. And so I just hope I can be a light for everyone else and anybody who's dealing with it,
Would you say, were you in denial? Or did it come to the point
Absolutely.
where you like, was it hard for you to realize I'm alcoholic?
Absolutely. Yeah, I just felt like, as anything, you're like, oh, I'm just having a drink or like, I just, and it was fun. Like, and like, now that I look back, a lot of people are like, yo, man, you were a lot more fun then. Like, and like now I kind of surprised. I'm like, I'm going to bed or I'm going to the crib. Like, I'm going to the crib for sure after this. So now I'm like,
Does it bother you when you hear stuff like, oh, you boring now?
No, not really. It was more so in the beginning, but now everybody respects it. Like, sometimes I'll joke and be like, oh, they'll be like, no way, not on my watch. Like, so it's good to have that support. Friends, like, right? And like, it was a very rough time, like trying to find myself again and like, but who was there, and I was very embarrassed about like, even when I got sober and like kind of went to the hospital, I was like so embarrassed about it that I did something so selfish, and so I'm cool to tell that story to people, and again, I'm not alone, you know. Again, I was very blessed to, it's crazy, I'm a Taurus, right? Like you mentioned that. So for me, it's so easy to cut things off quickly. Like, yeah. So
Because
it's
y'all
like,
are so stubborn.
or either we're on it or we're off it, you
yeah.
know? So
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
like an easy thing for me to just be off it, you know? And so it's kind of, it's different, like, you know, when you're dealing with, with people and all that, like, that's just how I am. I'm just, it's either all the way foot on the gas or off. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congratulations on
Thank you so much.
3
I really
years
appreciate you
of
asking that too.
sobriety. You know what I mean? Because that's important. And mental health too is very important.
Getting that sleep now.
Getting that sleep.
You know,
sleep
like
is so important.
I used to think like, yeah, let me drink a little bit so I can fall asleep. But now it's like you have that peace of
mind.
8 hours straight through.
Yeah.
No worries. Like, you know, and so again, I'm thankful, ultra blessed.
If I can physically, you know, put 2014 prior Frank right next to you, and yourself now, sober Frank, you know, has your creative process, you know, heightened or has it declined?
Oh, that's a great question. I've never been asked that. For me, I think it's heightened, you know.
Okay.
Again, I was always thinking like, hey, let me get a little drink so I can, they always say, you know, create drunk, edit sober, you know?
Right.
And so like I was thinking about that, I was like, let's create sober and edit sober, you know? And so for me, just getting more of the details there, you know? And in my job now of being a product manager, it's a little different in design. But you know, it's like a lot more detail to it. And so like, so again, so thankful, would never change the 2014 Frank and the drinking and the fun and the wilding out.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah, it's part of the journey, right? But like at some point, you know, you have to switch it up. For me, I just can't wait for the future, like to have a future now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, very blessed for peers, support, you know, and love. And like, again, I'm so thankful for the people that have been there.
Yeah, shout out to them. It's a village to get you through it. Another time jump. We going another time jump.
All right.
You know, returning to Nike in 2014. It was all over the internet. Bleacher Report, Soul Collector, Sneaker News, that, you know, Frank Cooke.
You mean 2024?
2024 when you returned. When you returned back, it was all over like the sneaker, you know, posts and blogs. You know, what made you come back after you left? Like, what made you, it's like, okay,
when I was leaving, well, when I left initially, I started working creatively with Shoe Palace and the Merchot family.
Yeah.
I just got to say, like, those dudes held me down, like, especially like Johnny. Like, I am so thankful for like the community work that they do. Even learning volume, right? Learning how, you know, big box stores work. You know, it was outside of like the 36 pair of being in this boutique world. And so I'm just super thankful for the Merchot family and like what they've done and like what I've learned there. It was like another time, right? But coming back, I had like a different thought process. Again, one, being sober, two, having that knowledge and knowing, like working with Shoe Palace, what the big box thing was. So like I have this part of like being ultra cool, rare shoes, and like now mixing it with, hey, there's common folk out here that want everyday shoes. And so how do you mix the cool with volume, right? And so coming back, one, it was a blessing that people were like acknowledging the fact that I was an asset to the brand. Right. But also knowing that I was going into a new challenge, right? So the 2018, the 2016s, the 2015s where shoes were ultra hot.
Yes.
That was an anomaly, right?
Right.
So now it's like we have to actually do our thing, like take it to the next level because shoes have slowed down, right?
Yeah.
It has been like a, you know, resale is not where it used to be, or, you know, the hype of it all is not there. And so like now it's cool because now you can expose like who's really here to work.
Right.
You know, who's really here to like really get down. Like, you know,
it's not.
Yeah. Like a basketball game, you know, you down 20, who's really going to show up and score 40 to like hit the game winner, you know, have that confidence. And so, you know, being back and like being in this era of where like, you know, Nike's trying to just to be honest, like be back in the streets, and so like it's cool because we're gonna do it as a people and as it's gonna be a journey and it's not gonna be easy, but like like tell the real stories and tell for the people who really cop.
Gotta feed the streets first.
Yep, absolutely.
But the reason why you're in New York, you worked with your boys Whitney and Jared on the Nike GT Fire, which is super tough.
Future, the Future.
Yeah, all the colorways are insane.
Yes, shouts out to the Nike basketball team. Like they're killing it.
Yes. With that, with working with them and being back, in New York, like it's like you're pushing a mixtape. You know what I mean? It's like you selling out your trunk, not quote unquote, but you're like you making sure the people who are supposed to have the shoes have them. So it spreads traction. It's like brand awareness.
Right.
How is that, like the creative process and like that,
Yeah, it's cool to work with that team, the colorways and things that they're working through. Also just like really knowing who you're targeting, right? And who you're talking to. Like, that's the thing for me. It's like this shoe is amazing. Again, you get a feel of nostalgia, of nostalgia Nike basketball in there.
Yeah.
With the Hyperflights, And so it kind of mix it with a foam posit.
Yeah, it's like a Hyper Dunks.
Yes, exactly. It's like the Hyperflight. So again, that was a shoe that I loved back in the day. And so like to see an update on it and have it a little bit faster, it's like if you're playing like, NBA 2K, like you see the first one, but like now it's like 2025. So you have to upgrade the graphics and you have to upgrade, the play, so it's faster for the new consumer. And so I feel like that shoe has done that, mixing in Wale, who's so basketball sneaker driven and like, foam posit is his thing and, a lot of these different shoes. And so bringing him in the mix, and also just like having respect for shoes on court. Yeah. And now, like you said, you see the tunnel, you see how fashion is influencing basketball.
Yes.
All these different NFL, all these things. So again, that shoe is amazing to me. And like, I just love the culture around basketball. So New York versus New York yesterday was electric.
To go so bad. It
was
dope.
Electric. Like, just to be out there and announcers and kids and, like, music and everything, like people dancing, having a good time, being in a safe environment, and just, it was just all about basketball. And so I was, just so thankful to be there.
Yeah. And I saw this article from WWD. They're saying it's only 300 pairs.
Yes.
Like, why so little compared to like
you want to create the moment.
Right.
You want to create the moment. And so, it was definitely that. And, again, I'm just super excited for what this shoe is going to do in the future. No, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for the release and the colorways to come. And I think it's going to be amazing.
Compared to other notable releases like the Nike Air Max OG Neon, which just released, which is a hot shoe, who had 10,000 pairs US worldwide. What's the pros and cons of doing like limited drops? Financially.
Like, I think not everybody gets to experience them, but that's the chase, right? Like, that's what kind of gets you into whether you're into sneakers or you're into watches or you're into cars or you're into, like collectibles, the boop, whatever it is, right? The blind box thing, like that's the new thing.
Those are so ugly. I don't know how people like.
Like they have a little thing with them. I don't know what it is. It's just, my boy Warren says that too. It's like, it's a little thing with them. I just don't, but, I think it's cool too though, right? Like something that's affordable, that like people are just, it like all the things that we've been through, whether it's a pandemic or, tragedy, things like that we've been dealing with, it's like people are like into something fun.
Right.
So I can't knock them on that. But it's just crazy, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. Lastly, these are the last questions.
Okay, no worries.
So it's this podcast. I don't even consider it a podcast. It's a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Music. Music recaps. I talk about like the music or albums that really stuck out to me over the past month. So see what you seem like a music guy.
Yes.
So mine's are Paradise. That's the album. Artist Young Nudie. It's a rap album. My favorites on the album was Pull Up, Goat, Sugar, Chains On. And the takeaways, Nudie is always, he delivers all the time.
Yes.
The beat selections is crazy.
Yep.
I like drill beats.
Okay.
I love drill beats. Like, I don't know why. I think it's a lot of G Herbo I used to listen to as a kid, and Lil Bibby, OTF, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the beat selections. The only thing I would say though is like, it's a solid project, but Young Nudie's albums is stagnant. It doesn't get worse. It doesn't get better. It's always like a good 8.
All right.
And Black Star by Amaria.
Okay.
Great album, 9.5. Star Killer featuring Bree Runway. That's one of my favorites. Miss 60 featuring Naomi Campbell. She's My Drug. Girly Pop. SMO. Great album, versatile. Yeah, very pushing the needle. Cover art crazy. Yeah, all good in my book.
Yes.
What you think?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's dope. Like, this past month for me, I gotta give it to him, man. I'm like old school. I gotta go Clips.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Push. Shouts out to Malice. Shouts out to everybody who's working on the album. Boy, Upscale Vandal. Yeah, my sister Jamila. All them. Like, for me, just never been a street dude growing up. But I've always admired the streets and known street dudes. But like the luxuriousness of street culture, quote unquote, or blow culture, however you want to say it. I never, dabbled in that, but like the way that the lyrics are so luxurious and the music and the beats and just the overall lyrics of things. Shouts out to them and what they've been able to create.
Yes.
Like in this new world, right? Because you're saying, you love drill and, I know it's a different world in rap, but to have that, kind of style where you're just lyrical, very forward, And so, shouts out to what they've done, like in this kind of new world.
Yeah. Last segment, throw glitter on them. That means, what pissed you off this week? It could be the smallest thing. Like, you hate that when you got your Rolex to get clean and they didn't clean it right. Like something stupid as that. Like, and that's a dope Rolex too.
Oh, appreciate it. That's the Domino's joint.
Very subtle, very subtle. Clap top. Throw glitter on.
Nah, it's one of my favorites. It's like my daily go-to joint. Though, like collecting watches was like getting into that was like really cool because it was like outside of sneakers.
Yes.
But I'm just still a young pup in it, so don't get it twisted, y'all. Don't get it twisted out there. But you know what?
It could be the littlest scenario. I'll go first and make sure to.
Okay. All right. Cool.
My throw glitter on the moment this week. It's like I'm been eating healthy.
Okay.
I'm a bootleg healthy guy right now. Like water, I don't really eat nothing crazy. So I eat bananas every day, trail mix. So the delis in New York, it's hit or miss. Like some delis will have fresh bananas, fresh avocados. Right. Not all of them.
Shout out. I think my man's hungry.
They won't have fresh, so it's like the bananas will be brown and green. The avocados will be hard, like they just got them. It's just like, come on, man. Like that make my life hard.
That took you to the next level.
Yeah.
Throw glitter on them.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like one thing, and this is so shallow, but like lines.
Oh,
I'd rather like
that. Yeah.
It's not about the time. It's like, I was kind of like waiting for like a line, and like for me, it's just like, let's set a time and I'll come back.
Yeah.
Like my thing is that like I'm wasting time in a line, and it's not like I wouldn't want to wait or wait my turn.
Right.
It's like, how do I wait for my turn?
Yes.
And that may be a life lesson right there a little bit, but like that's just what it is, and so. Throw glitter on that. Throw a little bit on that. Yeah.
Throw glitter on.
But no, it's an honor to be sitting in your presence, man.
For sure.
What's next for you? Like, what's next?
For me, again, being thankful to be back at Nike. Just really wanting to push, culture again. And again, have the streets involved in it. And for me, I guess my next step, I would love to see what it's like to collab again in the fashion world, high-end fashion.
High-end fashion.
You know, like there's a ton of brands doing their thing, and I think that culture's kind of been kind of leveled out to where, you know, you have to kind of lower your, not standards, but lower kind of like where you were at, you know?
Yeah,
So like more street-driven things in luxury, you know? So
because JJ Bound
so it's
is doing
digestible.
stuff.
Yes.
Like stuff like that. Like JJ Bound is like, you know, so it's definitely doable.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for me, that's just, you know, kind of what I want to dabble in next. And so, but I'm just, again, what I'm doing now, I'm kind of like getting some traction, you know, and getting my feet wet again. So, yeah, we'll see what's in the future, and I'm excited.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
No Ugly Chicks.
Yeah.
Frank Cooke.
Yeah.
Welcome to No Ugly Chicks Podcast. My perspectives, my opinions, just my insights on life. Hosted by the one and only Gary Tyler.